it's your man Mac the Reactor, fresh out the trash compactor. Shout out my backpack. I am back once again filming my last reaction for the day. I've just done like 4 previously. This is number 5. And I'm doing this for my man Kobe Robinson. Shout out to you from the Backpack. Listen, man, I try to really stay on top of my comments and everything like that, because obviously my channel's not so big that I miss everything yet. But if y'all could do me a big favor, and Kobe, maybe yourself as well, if y'all could hit me on Twitter, I find it a little bit easier to keep that organized. It's at Mac the Reactor on Twitter. Number 1, I did that to really just separate my social media entities anyway. But number 2, like I said, I find it so much easier to keep things in order. But Kobe Robinson, as far as I can tell, you are one of the Mac Pack. If you haven't subscribed, don't hesitate. Hit that button. And I'm going to do this one for you, man. Listen, when somebody tells me to react to LECRAE, it's not hard to get me to do that. A pleasure, man. So I'm going to be listening to Truth by LECRAE. This appears to be a lyric video from what I can tell. So I'm going to try and not cheat and like read the lyrics too much, because then I'll be able to see it before it kind of comes, if that makes sense. I really want to be a bit more surprised by what happens. And I'm going to just put some Mac on that cheese, man. Let's go. I'm going to get straight into it. I know I can be a bit of a loudmouth, a little bit slick in my intros, but listen, man, you'll already know who I am. Big Ross, like Rick Ross, go harder than Slipknot, and I'm in permanent beast mode without even applying a cheat code. See the way I almost forgot my little slogan there? But yo, let's get into it. The MAC is about to get into some LECRAE G. Let's go. His name's not LECRAE G. I don't know why I said that.
Bring it, drums. Yeah. This song right here is for everybody out there looking for truth.
I have to be honest with you. I'm out there looking for lies. I don't know if I'll be able to relate. I'm not looking for lies. We're all looking for the truth, I think.
Who says, you know, we all in the same boat.
Oh, we better help you. Better be a big boat.
Like that. Yeah. You looking for truth?
I feel him.
Oh, I got some answers, man. So good to me. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. I paused just in case. I don't really even know why.
Let's go. Night and day, I ain't scared to say it, we different. They play the prostitute, but they like to say they just intimate. Idols in their heart, they can't seem to lose the grip on it. See them walking in the direction that King Agrippa went.
See them walking in the same direction they can't get crippled with. And what he said before that I really liked too, but it kind of, I went straight on to my next thought. But yo, I'm liking this so far, man. I'm liking this.
It's different like Whitley and Wayne, man. They say we look the same, but we ain't chasing the same thing. It all boils down to they think everything's relative. Jesus might as well be a South American president.
Damn, Jesus might as well be a South American president. Yo. Okay.
Evident. They say that Jesus was heaven sent. They lifestyle reflects they worship themselves instead of him. They don't acknowledge the Christ. If they did, they wouldn't worship themselves by the way that they live.
That's kind of true, man. Like, I'll be honest with you, and I don't need feedback on it. I'm not religious in any way. I don't really embrace Christianity or anything. I don't really reject it either, I guess, because that's not fair, but I don't live the same way LECRAE does. Kobe, yourself, I might not live the same way that you do, but there's no denying what LECRAE said hit, though. I mean, a lot of people are too busy worshiping themselves. Like, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes you got to accept that as human beings, we're very flawed, man, and a lot of human beings do walk a bad path. I do believe there is a life force that does control this universe and has formed this all together. I do believe there's a reason why the bees pollinate the flowers and maggots break down corpses and the water flows the way it does and time works the way it does. I just don't necessarily believe in how it's been put into a book. I'm not going to give an opinion on that too much because, number 1, I'm not here to debate, because that's not what I'm just not here for it, man. And number 2, I'm just here to really take in the message, and I don't think you need to be of any particular creed and color to be able to understand what this man is saying. This is pretty, like, if you're not agreeing with what he's saying, like, something's off about you. He's really, he's dropping some knowledge right now, man. And look, if you're somebody that maybe doesn't embrace any kind of religion or relationship with a God or anything like that, man, you can take leadership from people who put out messages like this, man, because sometimes that's what you need to go in the right direction, man. It's just somebody that is maybe already going a good path to be able to maybe give you a little bit of a nudge down yours, man. I think if we all lift each other up, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to really matter who you worship, and it's not going to really matter if you don't worship anybody. I don't. I look up to a lot of people, but this message is relevant regardless of my status. You know what I'm saying? I hope you all understand what I'm saying there. Me like so far. Me like a lot.
All these rappers say they got guns that spray off 16. I got a Luke 9 that can take off 16.
Now, although I don't follow Christianity, I do understand that bar, and that's powerful. Yep. It's a passage about Luke. I don't like remember it 100% off the dome, but one of my boys was a very what's the way to say, very devoted Christian. And he used to just hit me with Bible passages every now and then, in a good way, you know what I'm saying? Like, not bashing me with them or nothing, or not saying that I should embrace what he embraces, but he would just pass on some of the wisdom to me, and I was okay with it. That's a powerful line if you understand what he's saying. That's cool, man.
That's the Bible, the one they quote, but they don't care about the author. They think he's a joke, man. See, some folks say all truth is relative. It just depends on what you believe. You know, hey man, ain't no way to know for sure who God is or what's really true. But that means you believe your own statement, that there's no way to know what's really true. You're saying that statement is true. You're killing yourself. If what's true for you is true for you, and what's true for me is true for me, what if my truth says yours is a lie? Is it still true?
I can answer that. If your truth says that my truth is a lie, it doesn't mean that my truth is a lie. Just to answer that. I don't mean to, I'm not here to grill LECRAE. He's allowed to speak his mind, that's fine. But there's a little bit of arrogance behind that statement to me, because nobody can ever tell me that my truth is a lie. Because my truth is my truth, the same way that your truth is your truth. And you might inherently feel that the words that you live by and the path that you know, the guidance that you seek and the path that you go down is the path. I get that, because otherwise, I mean, you wouldn't really be a good Christian if you questioned it. You know, of course, I get it. But what if my lie says that your truth is also a lie and we're both lying? I can start posing questions like that too. That was a ridiculous question. It was meant to be, but I'm just saying. So yeah, I wasn't feeling that. Maybe I'm just rubbed the wrong way by that, because it's not taken away from anything else. Just that one line. What if my truth says that yours is a lie? Is it still true? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. God damn it.
Come on, man. I promise, everybody is asking the same questions. Who am I? What is my purpose and my direction?
Then he comes through with a very solid bar. Feel everything he said just then. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I got caught up in that.
Probably believe that you exist for no other reason than self-satisfaction, hedonism, and pleasing things.
Man, I have to pause because he's saying some gems in this, and he's absolutely right, man. I'm somebody that doesn't even walk the same path of faith that he does, and even I get what he's saying. It's not what we're put on this earth to do at all. We're not here for no reason. We're not here to just exist, work a 9 to 5. We all are here to have a purpose, and our purpose number one is to protect this earth for what it is. That's part of our purpose. Really, it is. It's a part of our purpose. But if we were all doing it, you know, we wouldn't be having poverty in other countries, and we wouldn't be having people that don't have food to eat at the end of the day if we were really, really working in unity. And we're not. And in some ways we are kind of divided by our religions and cultures too, because okay, LECRAE'S a Christian, but there's a man in Somalia that's Jewish, and he believes something very, very different. And there's a man in somewhere in the middle of America that's a Muslim, and he believes something entirely different, and his belief is just as strong as yours. You know, if you're sat down at a table and you as a Christian started reciting some passages to him, he'd come back and say, well, the Honorable Allah says, and and he'd be delivering so much conviction, you know what I'm saying? But really what it comes down to is the core of what LECRAE is saying is that we are all here for a purpose. We're not here just to exist, man. We are here to really, we're meant to be, human beings are meant to, just the way all animals have their roles, our role is meant to be as the intelligent beings to preserve the planet, keep everything in order as it should be. You know, if it's decided at some point that an entity, I say an entity just because, you know, I don't believe God is in the words in the Bible, but if an entity decides that, you know, the world's time is up or whatever, then that's just what it is. But while we are here, we should be looking after each other. We should be looking after the planet. This is what I think. You don't have to subscribe to my way of thinking, but you also don't need to bash me with your way of thinking, but I'm open to it. I would rather, if you'll ever do want to like talk about this a little bit more, at Mac the Reactor on Twitter. It's very hard with YouTube comments because number one, YouTube does lack on the notifications sometimes, it really does. And number two, it's kind of ugly when you've got to like tap the comment and then hit the see more button and you got to read a whole lot of text, which isn't even as big as other social media text. So it's just, I mean, maybe I'm being a little pedantic and it's my preference. But if you could interact with me on Twitter at MacTheReactor, especially if you feel like you're a part of the Mac Pack, and please understand that I embrace you no matter what. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your color is. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you've been a very flawed human being in the past. We're all trying to go a good direction, I like to think. At least most of us are. And this man's talking right now, man. He's talking so much that he's getting me talking. Like, I think I only listened to the next bar, and then that created all this dialogue. But to some people, they're going to switch off the video at that point. But to me, it says, if he's getting me to have this much conversation just off the strength of maybe one or two lines he says, the song is hitting, man. It's hitting.
Life's about you getting yours and being happy. Even if it means a divorce and switching families, your job, your house, your car, your spouse. It's all for the glory of you, else you out. You go to school, get your degrees and get a job so you can make a whole lot of cheese, cause life's hard. You never thought of living to please a real God, and that's the reason he made you. See, he gave you breath to breathe, the chest to breathe it, so you can taste and see he's the best, believe it.
It's getting a little preachy for me right now, but the thing is, even as much as I feel like he's preaching a little, he's still saying some relevant stuff, man. Like I said, the way I, believe in this universe and the way everything works, there's definitely a life force that we don't understand. Definitely. I mean, I don't attribute it to any word that man has written down or anything like that. And again, like I said, I don't want too much feedback, man. Let's not get into a whole debate about it. But still, yeah, there's some Christian rappers. I know he doesn't try and box himself into that, but there's some Christian rappers that I can't listen to because it is just a little bit too on the preachy side. And you need to understand, if you want to win audience outside of Christian people, you got to tone that down a little bit. But he does it in a way that is healthy. He's not overdoing it. He might have just, for me personally, overdid it just a touch there. But then still, even for the fact that I felt like he was being a little bit preachy, I still felt what he was saying. And that, to me, I don't know how y'all are reacting to the way I'm receiving this, but I'm telling you, to me, that makes this even more powerful, because I'm able to get past a little hurdle that's there for me, just off the strength of what he's saying.
He made us for his glory, enough for your own, homie. Our God is holy, you should repent and die slowly. See, there's this thing called secular humanism that says man is the source of all meaning and all purpose. You know what I'm saying? We're just the result of a big cosmic explosion. We don't really have a purpose or meaning, so we just come up with our own purpose. We're the source of our meaning and our purpose.
People who say that are crazy too. Like, I agree with that. Not from a religious standpoint, just from a logic standpoint. I agree with what he's saying.
But how can a man who's just a product of chance, a finite being, be the source of purpose and meaning? He can't. We created with purpose, man. Get with the creator, y'all. Man, everybody got...
I believe in the creator differently, but I definitely believe in what he's saying.
Got a problem with God. And when you mention the Christ, then they really get to turning the knob. But some say they roll with Christ, because some rappers made him seem like he was cool with all the sin in their life. No, but then some say, how could God exist when all this evil stuff in the world keep persisting? Wrong question, ask again. How come God ain't let you feel the wrath from sin? What you thought last night deserve a first-class flight to hell where God doesn't dwell, you got that right. But he bought back life on a cross that night. Christ died, you ain't know that it cost that price. All of God's anger poured on the...
I think y'all can appreciate how this might be a little bit too on the Christian side for me. I don't mean to... I mean, as a Christian, you should just accept what I'm saying there. I'm not slamming nobody's religion or nothing like that, or relationship with God, however you want to word it. So laying it on a little bit thick for me, but I've appreciated so much of what he said that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to respect that this is his faith. This is what it is. I'm going to take a little bit of that because I need to let him speak on his God and his faith a little bit, and appreciate his message at the same time. So I'm going to allow it, man. I'm going to allow it. I bought his album. I already allowed it.
The son been together through all eternity. Now he was shunned. Praise God for the life that was won for us. Ain't got a beef with God because the son was crushed. Look, man, some people say that God ain't real because they don't see how a good God can exist with all this evil in the world. If God is real, then he should stop all this evil because he's all powerful, right? What is evil though, man? It's anything that's against God. It's anything morally bad or wrong. It's murder.
I don't know that I believe that that's specifically what it is, but evil definitely exists, and it's definitely even if I were to believe in God exactly as Lecrae or any of you believe in it, still I would understand why God cannot just abolish all evil. I can still understand that. And even if we take it as, I'm just going to have to say it in basic terms because I don't want to get in a big debate about it. And plus, my belief is it's my own, you know what I'm saying? But I believe the life force definitely controls a lot of what happens in this universe. But evil comes from within, I think. It comes from within. I don't think it's a seed that's been planted there by any god or anything like that. I think it comes from within. And sure, if you were to believe in some kind of Satan-like figure, that maybe there's some influence there as well. But there's evil there as much as there's good everywhere, man. And that's why we can really lessen a lot of the evil if we just really work on ourselves as people and walk a good path, man. I think that's what he's trying to say. I feel like me and Lecrae don't 100% agree on everything, but we agree on a lot. And there's rappers that I absolutely love that are maybe like me, they don't have any particular faith or anything like that. But having said that, I sometimes be questioning a lot of what they be saying because, people say some crazy ish on records sometimes. But what Lecrae's saying is not crazy. I might not always believe in the relationship with God element of it because his perspective is definitely coming from a Christian brain. And I get that. That's not a diss. If you take it as a diss, that's really your problem and yours to deal with. You need to understand that. But, man, I feel him. You know what? A lot of the time that there has been Christian rappers or whatever in the past that I can't even name because obviously they didn't stick with me. But they didn't approach it the right way. This man is kind of mixing his own belief and his own message in with a very universal message that we can all... I feel like we should all be able to get what he's saying here. It's not crazy.
Rape, stealing, lying, cheating. But if we want God to stop evil, do we want him to stop it all or just a little bit of it? If he stops us from doing evil things, what about lying? What about our evil thoughts? Where do you stop? The murder level, the lying level?
Evil thoughts a lot of the time manifest within us. We need to take accountability over that.
On the thinking level, if we want him to stop evil, we got to be consistent. We can't just pick and choose. That means you and I will be eliminated, right? Because we think evil stuff. If that's true, we should be eliminated. But thanks be to God that Jesus stepped in to save us from our sin. Christ died for our evils. Repent, turn to Jesus, man.
Tell me what to do. I know I'm very tongue-in-cheek at times, man. Hey, let that ride out. I enjoyed that. Which surprised me because, as you can tell, I didn't agree with every single word he said, but I think I agreed with about 90% of it. Yeah, man. No, that's cool, man. I appreciate that, Kobe, my man. I appreciate it, my guy, and I hope you're okay with the healthy dialogue. Not that I'm really going to do anything if you're not okay with it, but I hope you appreciate the healthy dialogue because, we all think differently. We act differently. We come from different backgrounds. We walk a different path. We have a different journey in life. Even your fellow Christians would still have a different journey to yourself. Your journey is very unique to you, and mine's very unique to me. But listen, though, the core of what he was saying, I really messed with heavy. To the point where, I'm still going to... You know what, man? I'm still going to go and give that track about... I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The reason I couldn't go higher than a 7 was because there was a little bit of disconnect there with me sometimes. And at the same time, it's not... I got to also react to the lyricism, the musical, the sonic pleasure of it and all that kind of thing. I hope I worded that in a good way. I know what I mean, even if I didn't project it well. So yeah, it was a very, very minimalist in terms of the musical aspect of it. Sonically, this sounded a little bit rough, but I don't know if that's just because it doesn't look like this is an official Lecrae upload. So I don't know if the sound was just compressed in the upload or if this was just from maybe an underground mixtape or something. I'm not really sure. Definitely give me feedback on that. So that did knock a point off, I guess. What also knocked a point off was just that 10% where I disconnected a little bit. But that 7 out of 10 I give it just comes from that 90% of this that I really just messed with all the way. And the lyricism was there too, you know what I'm saying? It didn't have to be bar heavy because there was a big message here. He wasn't here to deliver haymakers and run circles around rappers. He was here to talk. and he gave a good message, man. I appreciate it. So Lecrae, you already got a purchase out of me, my man, and I'm very likely going to go back on some of your old stuff too. But I really messed with that. What was it, Mortality, the name of the album? I forget. I only just purchased it like 3 or 4 days ago. But I really enjoyed it, man. I'm going to go back in for a second listen when I go on another one of my nature walks. I'll go on nature walks with my dogs every night. It really keeps my mind calibrated. It keeps me kind of in sync with nature and all that kind of stuff, and it just clears my head. I like it. But listen, Kobe, really appreciated it, man. I'm not going to be slick at the end of this because this was a really serious song, and I don't want to be all crazy at the end of the video. I want to let the message ride. Lecrae really came correctly, man. So I appreciate that. I want you all to have a good day, have a good night, and I guarantee you everything's going to be all right. Take care, y'all. Mac the Reactor, going back to the trash compactor. I put plenty of Mac on that cheese. I'm sure we can agree. I am out of here.